one more time though. 1, 2, 3. And with that, you deserve a round of applause for that. And now it is my pleasure to bring on, ladies and gentlemen, people you see on a Saturday night. They keep us entertained. We're glad to see them back for a second season and back at the MCM Expo. Give it up, nice and loud, first of all, for Gwen, of course, Angel Colby! She's been having a little bit of sword play this season, kicking some butt. It is, of course, Katie McGrath as Morgana! And last, by no means least, a man without whom we would have no Merlin. Let's give a massive round of applause for Mr. Johnny Caps! Welcome back. I feel like old friends now you've been back, but it's lovely to see you again. And thank you very much for a great second season so far. The trailer looks amazing. What has so far for you guys been the highlight of what we've seen so far? Bearing in mind, I think we're in episodes 5 or 6 at the moment, aren't we? What was the most fun you've had so far on that?
I really enjoyed doing episode 5, running around in forests and kissing Santiago Cabrera. That was quite fun.
I liked episode 5 as well, getting kidnapped and swordplay. It was nice to finally get to do quite a bit with Angel, because we don't get to do enough, so yeah.
Yeah, you always like fighting, don't you? They're always asking me, can we fight more? Can we have more sword fights? So we're always trying to put it into scripts for them. The highlight for me, I think, is that we got it on air on time. I think the biggest challenge about Merlin is the turnaround is really tight with the show. And for episode 5 that they were just talking about, we only finished the post-production on the Friday, and and it was transmitted on the Saturday. So we were literally running to the BBC with the video cassette of the episode. So for me, it was the triumph that we actually get it there in time and for you guys to watch.
Hi, in the episode with the assassin, the person who did the commissioning was called Odin, which is, you know, the Norse god to do with connotations of danger and revenge and stuff. How much thought goes into naming these characters?
It's always, we always take ages choosing names, because like you said, we always try and choose a name that reflects the theme or something to do with the episode. So it's always a kind of a lively debate, and always lots of names are rejected. But the other thing is that the script department always find it very amusing to find character names that I can neither spell or pronounce. So that's also a big factor in choosing the names.
What was the most funniest moment on set?
Well, I wasn't actually there for this moment, but I heard that Bradley was on a horse which had to walk into the water, and this particular horse sometimes just decides to do what it wants. They're all trained very well, these horses, and they're trained to do things like sit down. And there's one particular point where Bradley's standing in the water trying to look all manly and masculine, and the horse decides to just start sitting down in the middle of the lake, and apparently there's a slow motion shot of him going, no! Which I haven't yet seen, but I quite want to see.
And he actually got very, very wet, which is all very amusing for all of us.
By the way, your dress is very pretty.
Thank you.
Hi. Of course, everyone knows the story of like Arthur and Merlin. They know what's going to happen to Morgana, or like what's going to happen between Gen and Arthur. Do you think this is like a hindrance to your storytelling, or it helps?
Well, for us it's always really exciting because there's the inevitability of everybody knows what's going to happen. So the challenge for us is creating the stories is to find the twists to that. So, you know, for example, Morgana's turn to the dark side is quite a surprising one and not an obvious one. And so I don't find it a hindrance at all. I find it kind of a challenge, and because the mythology is so rich, it's always interesting reading, you know, the many mythologies about Merlin and King Arthur and the Round Table, and finding ways of reinterpreting those and finding twists to them, and starting those stories off in quite unconventional ways, like we did with Excalibur. And later on in this series, you'll find that we begin the story of the Lady in the Lake in quite an unexpected way. So there is the inevitability, but with that there's the excitement of twisting the expectations of that inevitability and finding a fresh way of starting the legend.
apart from obviously going evil with the pointy hat and becoming a warrior queen, what is the one thing you would really like your characters to go through before like the series ends? Like any particular moments or something from the legend or whatever?
I'd quite like to see, Gwen's always very good and humble and she always does the right thing. I'd quite like to see her really mess up and do something like totally wrong and inappropriate and see how she deals with that.
Snogging two different men isn't wrong and inappropriate?
No?
Right. Checking. I'm going to get in trouble for that. Personally, my favorite part about Morgana is when how manipulative she can be and how dark, but how she's a brilliant actress. And I love doing those scenes where she's playing everyone off and pretending to be something that she's not, when hiding who she really is. So for me, that's what I enjoy. So hopefully more of that next year.
And I think from a story perspective, what's great about Katie and Angel is that because of their abilities of actors, we're never stuck in story meetings to thinking of where we can take the characters. We never have the meetings, well, they can't do that, or they don't have a broad enough range to play those things. You know, we have two phenomenal actresses that we can always storyline really interesting things with and always find interesting challenges for their characters and for them as actors.
Do the boys like to prank you a lot?
They try, but yeah, there's a lot of banter, a lot of Mickey taking generally. But,
we try to take the piss out of Bradley as much as possible throughout the entire sheet to keep his feet on the ground. So we're constantly pulling him down, aren't we?
Yeah, it's a kind of group activity. It's quite fun.
How does Arthur actually find out Merlin's a wizard?
We don't know yet.
How does Merlin find out? Well, I mean, that would be giving away story, so I couldn't possibly comment. But it's a good question, and
Keep
something
watching.
that inevitably will happen.
What's the weirdest fan request you've ever got?
That's over to you.
The weirdest fan request.
Nice wig, by the
Fan
way.
question or fan request?
Someone came up to me and asked me if they could hug me the other day. That was quite weird. Someone I didn't know. Well, I said yes, but you know, what can you say?
Somebody gave me a bottle of Merlin liquor once, which was nice. I still have it. We don't get asked quite bizarre things.
No.
If you think of anything, you know, ask away.
Ask Katie.
Yeah.
Oh, you really shouldn't have said that.
I'm in trouble.
Okay, we have a question from this young lady in the front.
I was wondering why it is that out of the four main characters, they only have either one parent or no parents, and whether there was a story behind what happened to Gwen and Morgana's mothers.
Well, I mean, I don't know, John, you might be able to answer that question. As an actor, you always kind of try and build a bit of a backstory for your own character. I always sort of imagined that Gwen's mother had died, but with Merlin, you never know, she could turn up at any stage. Don't know if there are any plans for that, Johnny.
I mean, I think that what we've tried to do with the parentage of all of our characters is to create an intrigue and keep the book basically open, so therefore we can introduce parents, mothers, fathers, sisters of characters in interesting and unexpected ways. So in series 2 we do reveal relations of some of our main characters in quite surprising ways.
What's your favourite cheese and why?
Is this the strange request question?
Oh dear.
Oh God. I don't like cheese.
Goat cheese, because it's delicious. I don't know.
I like, my favourite cheeses are usually ones with blue veins in that are very, very smelly and strong.
I was wondering, because Morgana is known as Morgana Le Fay, if there was going to be more involvement with fairy folklore in Merlin?
With fairy folklore, did you say?
Yeah.
We, in the latter half of this series, start to unwind the more mythology about Morgana. And as we do that, and as we go into series 3, there will be more kind of a bit of fairy mythology, yeah, but only a little bit in this series, and then we'll touch on it more